Lunch at UA had never been YN's thing. It wasn't something their classmates really noticed before, especially when everyone was so busy with training and schoolwork and just surviving the hero course. But now, living in the dorms and kind of being around each other, it was different. It was hard to ignore when someone wasn't eating. Not when they were all so together constantly. At first, no one thought of it. Maybe YN just wasn't that hungry, maybe they preferred to eat in the room, or maybe they were just a little shy about eating in front of people. That was all normal. But it wasn't just at lunch. It was everywhere. YN never came down for breakfast either, even when the delicious smell of eggs, bacon, and rice filled the common room area. They never showed. Even when Kaminari bragged about his perfect pancake flip, or when Sero tried to challenge Bakugo to a spicy ramen breakfast duel, YN was absent. Then came dinner. They were always too tired, or not feeling well, or too busy. It had been a few days now, and the Baku squad, Kirishima, Kaminari, Minas, and Sero were lounging in the common room after dinner. The TV played some variety of show in the background, but no one was really paying attention to it. Instead, they were talking, specifically about YN. Has anyone actually seen them eat? Kirishima asked, glancing around at his friends. Mina's brows furrowed. I mean, now that you mention it, no. Kaminari leaned forward, resting his elbows on his knees. Dude, I thought they were just weird about eating in public, but they live with us now. That doesn't really work anymore. They said they weren't feeling well today, Sarah added. But they said that like 3 times this week. Silence fell over them. No one liked the way this conversation was going. Eventually, Kirishima sighed and turned towards the one person who hadn't spoken. Bakugo. The blonde one was sitting with his arms crossed, a scowl deep, as he listened. Bakugo, Kirishima said carefully. You're kinda close with YN, right? His scowl twitched. The hell are you saying? I mean, maybe you should check on them, Kirishima shrugged. You're good at paying attention to people even if you're gonna pretend you aren't. If anybody's gonna get through to them, it's you. Bakugo clicked his tongue in annoyance. That's not my problem. Mina rolled her eyes. Come on, Bakugo, don't be an ass. We're worried. He didn't say anything for a moment, then he stood up with a loud sigh. Fine, but don't expect me to hold their hand. The Baku squad exchanged glances as Bakugo stormed off towards YN's room, his footsteps heavy against the dorm room floor. Standing outside YN's door, Bakugo raised his fist and knocked. Hard. No answer. He knocked again. Oi, open up. Still nothing. He scowled and tried the handle, but it was locked. YN, I swear. I'm not feeling well. Their voice was muffled through the door. Bullshit, he snapped. Open the door. Silence. He clenched his jaw. His patience was wearing extremely, extremely thin. He wasn't really the type to dance around his shoes. He was sure as hell wasn't about to start now. You haven't been eating. Still no answer. Don't act like I'm stupid, he growled. You think no one noticed? You've been skipping every meal since you moved in? The hell's going on with you? A few beats passed before we finally heard movement. The soft click of the door unlocking. Slowly, YN opened the door just enough to peek out. Their face was pale, dark circles around their eyes, and they looked exhausted. I'm fine, they mumbled. Bakugo scoffed. Yeah? You look fine. His tone drooped with sarcasm. What, you just forget to eat for the whole damn week? They didn't answer. Something in their chest seemed to tighten. He didn't like this. He didn't like how tired they looked, how quiet they were, how they wouldn't even meet his eyes. Bakugo wasn't the comforting type. He wasn't good at soft words or gentle reassurances, but he wasn't stupid. and he knew when something was wrong. Why? He sighed, his voice lowered now, quieter. Wyan hesitated, shifting uncomfortably. I just don't feel like it. His frown deepened. That's not an excuse. I don't know, okay? They snapped, frustrated. I'm just not hungry. His sharp eyes scanned their face, looking for any sign of a lie. He hated how weak they sounded, how small they seemed. It's not normal, dumbass. They looked away. I know. Bakugo took a deep breath, running a hand through his hair. This was out of his depth. He didn't know what to do, but he wasn't just going to leave them like this either. You got food in here? Wyan blinked, caught off guard. And stepping inside their room, it was neat, but noticeably empty of any snacks or leftovers, just as he thought. Bakugo turned back to them, arms crossed. I don't give a shit if you don't feel like it. You have to eat. They shifted uncomfortably. I know. Then let's go. Wyan furrowed their brows. Go where? To the kitchen, idiot, he said like it was obvious. You're eating. Now. They opened their mouth to argue, but when Fine. They relented. Bakugo didn't say anything, just led the way down the hall. The Baku squad was way down there. They were still in the common room. The conversation had halting when they saw Wyan trailing behind him. Oh, hey, Wyan, Mina perked up. They're eating, Bakugo said, cutting a glare into the group as if daring them to comment. Oh, that's good, man. Kirishima smiled, looking relieved. Wyan, feeling slightly embarrassed, mumbled, You guys don't have to worry, okay? Of course we do, idiot, Bakugo mumbled. Konari smirked. Is Bakugo actually worried about someone? Bakugo growled, cracking his knuckles. Shut up before I blast your face. Despite the threat, Wyan couldn't help but smile a little bit. Maybe they weren't that hungry, but the idea felt a little weird. As they sat down at the table, watching Bakugo grab something from the fridge and shove it into their plate, they figured they could try, at least for now. The plate in front of Wyan felt heavier than it should have. The weight of everyone's attention only made it worse. Mina, Kaminari, Kirishima were all kind of watching them. Not obviously, but it was just like little glances, and it was enough for Wyan to feel it. Then there was Bakugo, sitting across from them, arms crossed and just eyes sharp. His presence was the most overwhelming of all. It wasn't they didn't want to eat, maybe they didn't feel like it. Their stomach felt empty, but not in a way that made them crave food. It was just a dull, hollow feeling, one they had gotten used to. Still, with Bakugo staring them down like there was some kind of project, they had no choice but to comply. Wyan hesitantly picked up a spoon and poked at her food. It was warm and fluffy and freshly made. Bakugo must have cooked it himself because the portions were aggressive, more than they could probably finish even on a good day. Eat, Bakugo ordered, his voice gruff but firm. Wyan sighed quietly and took a bite. The warmth of the rice spread through their mouth, the familiar taste grounding them slightly. It wasn't bad, but they didn't like it. They didn't like the feeling. Or at least, maybe they thought they could do it. Their stomach twisted in a protest after a small bite. Bakugo nosed immediately. The hell are you doing? Wyan grimaced, putting the spoon down. I'm just not hungry. The hell you aren't, he snapped. They haven't eaten in days. You think I'm just gonna sit here and let you waste away like a fucking idiot? I'm not wasting away. Bullshit. His eyes started, cutting Wyan off. I don't care what's going on with you, and I don't really want to know either, but if you don't want to talk about it. But you're eating. Wyan clenched their jaw. He didn't get it because it wasn't that simple for him. I am. They gestured to the few bites they had managed. See? Bakugo scowled. That's not Enough. Hiroshima, who had been quiet until now, leaned forward. Hey, man, maybe don't push too hard. Bakugo shot him a glare. They need to eat. I will force feed them if I have to. Mina gasped dramatically. Oh my god. Wait, that could be kind of romantic. Bakugo turned bright red. Shut up. Lion, despite themselves, let out a small laugh. The tension in the room eased slightly, but the problem still remained. They looked back at the food, their stomach twisting again at the thought of eating more. I just really don't think I can finish it all. Bakugo exhaled sharply through his nose. Fine. Half. Bakugo, Lan hesitated. Eat half and I won't yell at you. Lion narrowed their eyes. You already yelled at me. Yeah, and I'll do it again if you don't start now. Kaminari snickered. Damn, Lion. You got a personal drill sergeant now. I hate this, Lion muttered, but they picked up the spoon again. Bakugo watched like a hawk as they slowly worked through half of their food. It took longer than it should have, and every bite felt heavier than the last, but they did it. And maybe that was enough for now.